Thank you for listening to the Following Films podcast. Today I'm joined by Marcus Dunstan, director of the new film All My Friends Are Dead. In the film, a group of college friends rent an Airbnb for the biggest music festival of the year. A weekend of partying quickly takes a turn as the group is murdered one by one according to their sin. I had a great time chatting with Marcus, and All My Friends Are Dead is currently available on demand. Hope you enjoy the show. Thanks. How are you today?
I'm grateful. Oh, we are recording.
Absolutely. Just get right in. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this, man. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. I mean, without correspondence such as yours, these littler movies don't get a spotlight. So we need it. We need to pop like a star in that big galaxy of entertainment. So thank you.
Well, it's literally why I started doing this, was films like yours. There's these things that are really fun and interesting, have a unique point of view that might just be a little bit off the radar, and literally anything I can do to, signal boost that. That's what I want to do. I mean, the best job I ever had was working in a video store, simply because I could just talk about movies and promote things all day to people.
Okay. I see. Still have my name tag. Still have my name tag from Blockbuster, and it was going down the tubes. So I wasn't even my name. It was Jamie. And it does look like Jamie was killed by a rhinoceros strike or something. But I took the posts. I grabbed it. And I love that too. Like, I took my employee pics wall very seriously. And it was mostly like, I think you're looking for frequency. Always that movie Frequency was like the go-to for like, I want something that I haven't heard of, that's good, that's got thrills and chills. And I'm like, I think you need to see Frequency.
Frequency is a solid one. That's it. That's one of those rare genre films that you recommend to a mom or dad or to a grandma. And it works out. I think it's one of those ones that anybody can get something out of that for multiple reasons.
It like hits a triple for just about everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And, okay, to get to All My Friends Are Dead.
Yes.
I love that you're leaning into the comedic side more in this one, more than I've seen in your other directorial stuff. I've seen it in your writing, and I've seen moments in the collection. There are moments that they're not overtly comedic, but there are things that are absolutely, I think the timing of horror and comedy can actually be very similar. And I feel like you've got to turn up the amplifier on that side of it this time. So was that something you agree with that idea, or okay?
Absolutely, because we had some acreage, and this was a murder mystery, so we had some acreage in the storytelling to develop our characters a bit longer. And even in if you're looking at the structure of a screenplay, the screenplays are simply longer because you need to cast doubt. There needs to be suspicion. Mm-hmm. There needs to be red herrings, and then in covering a scene. Well, does that person's shoe match maybe a detail of the killer's shoe? Does that person have a glove, an adornment, something? And ultimately, there's also that audio level. Well, what if we know a little bit more about them? Well, how then do we take this time and put some sugar on it so before we get to the mayhem, it's digestible and it entertains? So we threw everything at it with this one, where we even start with an animated commercial for our faux pot brand, which is actually real, courtesy of Dan Rubin. There is something called the Goat, and Dan was an investor in this movie. So if you want to smoke along with All My Friends Are Dead, anytime you see a reference to the Goat,
it's a real thing.
Time that kill happens, you'll be on Mars, So that character then seemed to have a natural, organic sense of humor, played beautifully by Jack Dope Smith. And what we wanted to do was follow a tradition as well of, once the terror machine starts, the sense of humor begins to be yanked out of certain scenes, or it's replaced with the horror movie's sense of humor, which is, it could be the punchline of a shocking death and a person's fairly blasé reaction to it, like, well, that's bad. Then you have something, or it's something that's so over the top shocking that you get the laugh and then you just need to scream and run. Or in the case of a wonderful moment, there's a particular joke that I have held close, kept it in my vest for years. And then all of a sudden I had the right performer, the right scene, the right opportunity to put it in this. And this is a gift of shooting the movie in order. It's courtesy of Kirk Shaw and Stephanie Rennie. And the actor, Jennifer Enns, who plays Mona. The joke, I won't give it away, but it was so awesome because we had the honor of premiering in Tribeca in over 3 sold-out nights. Because you don't know, you have to have an audience know you're kind of blending horror and humor ideally. I'd say that's ideally. It's not a must, but it's ideal So their expectation isn't calibrated for that first scene, not scaring them, but making them laugh. Like if you know
Yeah.
our intent is to keep you off kilter tonally, great. So now all the tectonic plates floated together for this micro moment. Jennifer landed it. I saw the silhouettes of an entire theater because I was standing in the back, just like the usher I used to be in high school. Goose the volume, and up it happens. And I was like, okay, like I don't have that many of those in the arsenal, the treasure chest, the heart chest. But to see Jennifer land it, the audience get it, they jump, their guard goes down, and then boom, we can come in with the next bit of harshness. That was an absolute delight.
Well, it's the, I think, probably the most underappreciated blending of genres, horror and comedy, and getting that right. It is really, really difficult. Very few, a lot try, but very few of it get it right. That balance, it's too shocking or too horrific to ever be funny, that when that happens, or if it was to keep the comedy going. You can have something that's designed to be funny in the beginning, and then it pulls the rug, and then we're deadly serious the rest of the time. I'm great with that. I actually love that when a movie keeps me on my toes. But when you're doing that throughout and you're vacillating back and forth, it's tough to pull off that balance. And I think you did that here. I think you do have comedy throughout the entire film. It's not a comedy per se, but you do have a lot of comedy here.
Well, goodness, no, and I didn't. That was the other thing, is we wanted to keep things mysterious, just like so we could prepare for some plot twists that people wouldn't see coming. And what I loved about the script by Josh Sims and Jessica Sarah Flom was I felt like I was eavesdropping on people I didn't necessarily know, but could recognize from my past. These are friends of mine that maybe if they went down the wrong path, they'd have ended up in this movie like these characters. And if these characters didn't make an unfortunate stop along the way, well, they would have gone on and been in their coming of age, drama mixed with a little humor, heart, and whatnot. So then, but this one, no, the horror movie takes over. And when the horror movie does, it announces itself with its own set of credits right at an odd time. And then its narrative begins to guide the ship. But fortunately, due to that screenplay, it then had a twist that I hadn't seen before. And then it had more twists. It had more twists than a pretzel. And then the ultimate surprise was it had a heart. So I thought the scariest thing for me about it was I'm going to jump in and I want to protect this screenplay. And I've got this great cast, and that is, of course, led by Jade Pettijohn. That is our North Star, who is so great. And talk about a master of vacillating tone. She can do it. And she's got, over 10 years of experience, and she's only in her early 20s, like a master already.
Yeah.
JoJo Siwa, who was an absolute wonderful surprise of warmth, heart, and really just and had acted with Jade all those years ago in the School of Rock TV show. Then the aforementioned Jennifer, Justin Derrickson, Cardi Long, Jack Dope Smith, and Julian Haig, who really filled out this group and brought it to life. And there was nobody slipping on a banana peel for an easy laugh. So then you've got Ali Fumiko Whitney, whose character starts to kind of start with something loud and the interpretation of her ideal self through this phone. But the movie narrative allowed the fissures to appear, the cracks, and the carefully calibrated performance of Ali, the humanity starts to come in. And then that allows the heart to happen. And then just like in my own speed bag, I wanted a couple of ringers. And that means people I'd worked with before. So I was fortunate to have two four-timers with me. And that's Peter Giles, who I was able to sneak in a few more zingers. I love Peter's voice because he's the voice of Fox Sports. Mm-hmm. So when he's you're like the Rams versus the Bears, that's him. Yeah. And he's also the nicest person on earth. This guy will meditate, never agitate. And I love writing lines that are shocking, foul, offensive, and cancelable, and just have this nice man say them. You're like, really? Do you want me to say this? Okay. And so that character then was able to come up with the mantra: victims are so played out. Find something new to watch, even if you're dying. Who cares? Be exciting, kind of like the way some agents can be for material. Like, I don't care. Victims are out. Survivors are in. Hey, how about that?
I was going to say all your characters are three-dimensional in this, but the manager is definitely a little one note, and that's totally fine though. It's not.
He's directly from. He's me. He is my voice as the anarchist in there. He'd be like, but you didn't think of this absolute schoolyard. Wow. this at the height of vulnerability, here comes that single-minded dorsal fin mentality, like, I still see a product here. You know? And then that leads me to Michaela Russell, who Michaela I've worked with 4 times as well. And she wore many hats. So not only is there the performance there, but behind the scenes, she produced all 33 of our original tracks, including the track that's in the movie trailer. So that's kind of my long spiel. I always want to hang my hat on acknowledging this awesome cast. And then I have one giant request for anybody listening, seeing this: stay through the credits, because our twists, as many twists as that Presto will give us, we've got more in the credits too. There you go. Please stay for the credits. Oh, whoops! I can't hear you, brother.
Sorry, it looks like my something just happened to my mic, so just switching over to the onboard right now.
Okay, no worries.
So I'm wondering though, with a film like this, where you're having this kind of balance and you're taking there's a vote of confidence in the audience, because there's more DNA with an Agatha Christie here than you have with a lot of genre stuff that you see today. And so I think that you have to be paying attention, because we're used to seeing unnecessary plot delivered early on that doesn't pay off in any way whatsoever, and it's all extraneous. This is very meticulous the way this film is plotted, and so you are rewarded for paying attention in this one.
Thank you for saying so. Well, and then here's the big swing that any movie takes these days: is we have to compete with the phone, and we're making characters that are very much distracted, fascinated, absorbed by that 2x4-inch black window to nowhere. So the narrative of they are projecting themselves through it. This is my ideal me. This is the me I want everyone to see. And please, it's taking voyeurism and inviting it in. And while they're being sucked into that vantage point, the 99.9% of the acreage around them allows the voyeur to sneak up in real life and pounce. So we thought, like, all right, if we can grab that and then treat the whole movie like a sugar rush to the eyes, a sugar rush to the brain, just the voltage and adrenaline of look at me now, great. We will reward that with all of these card flips. And so then we're stuck with this really cold feeling as we're shooting it. And it's a cold feeling that is warmed up by hope. We didn't know if we'd see a theater. We didn't know if we'd see completion. At this point, there were still strikes and things and imminent threats to our way of being, our way of storytelling. And then something else happened. You could make a great movie for a studio, an unequivocal great movie, but they just might hit delete. You can have a $135 million movie with an Oscar nominee, but maybe that's just going to go to the phone. But then our little tugboat somehow gets to come to theaters August 2nd and be on demand. So you can take it. You can have it on your phone if you want. You can have it on your big screen, or you can see it on the silver screen where we turn that sucker red. It's because that's what we designed it for. And we designed to get a room of silhouettes together. And I say silhouettes because that's what everyone is from behind. But that cool, ever oscillating color scheme where we can see like all the strands of your hair. And I'm telling you like what it looks like from the back of the theater watching folks. And then when they jump, if we do our job, everybody jumps closer together, not further apart. Now we could use some stories like that.
Well, I'm glad you got to that, because this was something that I watched this weekend, and it was a much needed, just a release. I could just get outside of my world for a little while, enjoy this. Still, it was a thoughtful film. It was well made, but it was something that was pure escapism. And I got to enjoy myself, and I got to go along for this ride. I wasn't insulted for it. I didn't feel guilty for enjoying this. It was just something that I just genuinely was able to connect with and enjoy in that way. And I think we could all use a reprieve right now, so we can, and it's very, for me, I'm the kind of sick bastard that finds release from real life tension in horrific things. So I can handle the horrors of real life much easier, because I experience horrors in the fake world often.
I whoever coined the term that this summer's movie roller coaster is, and we're humans. It's almost as if, as Stuart Gordon said, the great director of Reanimator and From Beyond,
one of the greats,
he loves the death scenes because it's just a rehearsal for the worst day you can imagine. It's not the real thing. and you find that when you get these performers together, and it's neat because like working with be it the experienced multi-generational actor, be it the young actor, the first timer or whatnot, or directing your umpteenth movie, fine. You've got the jitters. And if you have this controlled environment, controlled in the sense that, okay, all the stakes are fake stakes, and you get to scream and let all those jitters out, all of a sudden, the people who walked in, strangers, emerge old friends. We've exercised the fears of life, and for 1 second, we're saying like, all right, let's give all of that into the glass and offer it back out and say, if you want to sit with us for 91 minutes, we will be your window. You throw everything through it, exercise, get it out. And when you leave, maybe you're just a bit exhausted of all that stuff you can't quite describe, all those jitters, all those fired up nerve endings. And maybe you walk out with some new friends.
That's a beautiful way of looking at it. And I think that's how I personally found my community in horror. That's where I found my tribe. It was those other people going into that theater on a Friday night. That it was an excuse to have my girlfriend, now my wife, sit a little bit closer to me. But really, in the end, it was just this way.
Congratulations!
Yeah. So
Isn't that awesome?
Coming up on 15 years next week. So yeah.
Hey, that's rad. Good Lord.
And it was the horror movies. We both love all the discs in the Criterion Collection, every documentary that we've ever been to, and all those other things. But it's always the comedies and the horrors that really, I think, bring us closer together, that we go back to.
What is your movie? What's the one that I'd say? I start with a question. What's the first one you remember sharing together? The first kind of horror movie.
The first horror movie that we saw together. Frailty would be it. So. Yeah.
What a brilliant movie to start with.
It wasn't quite a litmus test, but it kind of was at the same time, because if you didn't love this thing, that was just wildly underseen. So yeah,
that's another one where it's right up there. It actually might supersede Frequency because it's got a more specific bullseye.
Yeah,
you walk in and it welcomes your predispositions, and it's like, you didn't see this coming.
No, you didn't.
It's a marvel of horror and heart.
Yes. You can tell that story without the horror. There is absolutely a story to be told there that's just about that parental relationship, about a father and son and his two sons. And really, there's a story to tell there that doesn't need horror. It's all the more rewarding because the horror is the misdirect in it. But it's incredible. That ending gets me every time.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, like, we were looking to, always try to contribute something to that experience out there, which is so rewarding. And I hope that this summer, and like, I don't know when this will be emerging online or whatnot, but
it'll be timed with the release. Absolutely.
Timed with the release. So as of our recording, this weekend is a triumphant weekend for Longlegs, now deemed, I think, the biggest horror opening of the year, and the biggest one for Neon. So how cool is that? And I believe our weekend of coming out, you have a choice between us, the borderline NC-17. You don't know what's coming next. Oh gosh, you might have to turn it down. If mom and dad walk in, hopefully they bring popcorn and sit with you. If not, they might, exercise you from their home. Or you can see Trap, or you can see, I think just choose between those two so we can keep it more horror-centric out there. Really centric. But hey, for this one glorious weekend, you're going to have that awesome choice. And what a glorious choice to have. We're grateful to be a part of it.
But there is, you can say a lot about the cinematic landscape right now. This has been a hell of a year for horror right now. So yeah. I've seen some incredible stuff. But I know we're out of time. You got to jump onto another one right now. But man, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet with you.
Absolutely. No, my absolute honor. Thank you very much. And hey, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. No, and congrats on the movie. You got a special one here, man. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thanks for checking it out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care. Have a good one.
Awesome. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Years gone, and what do we have to show? Wasted time that I know, and fear's gone, and where did all of it go? And my pride and my mind follows my pride. So what's wrong with fixing and plastering though? Oh, nothing, not anymore. show. Spite, might, and I don't know. Left, wrong, rewind, give it a go. And my spite and my might follows my pride. So what's wrong? Fixing and plastering though. Oh nothing, not anymore. So sing your victory song. Pretend that nothing is wrong, like you don't know. The bandits finally came off. No scars are left to show off. On with the show. So sing your